One of the most debated and popular fictional debates of all time was Goku versus Superman. This makes sense as both characters are cultural icons that have made a lot of childhoods in the 90s. However, times have since changed, and a new debate has since taken the throne for most debated fictional topic. In 2009, a brand new manga was released in Japan that took the country by storm, and that manga was titled One Punch Man. This manga centers around the main character, Saitama, who was so powerful that he could end all of his fights in one punch, giving birth to a new debate. Goku vs. Saitama had completely dethroned Goku vs. Superman off the charts and skyrocketed in Google searches, Reddit debates, etc., completely overtaking the throne for the most debated topic in anime history, even to this day. Even in the modern times, and even currently, this debate still runs rampant on basically every corner of the internet where even the concept of anime is talking about. Hello everyone, Dusty here. In this video, I'll be talking about the long debated Goku vs. Saitama. These characters need no introduction, as they are some of the most popular anime characters of all time from the moment they were released. I will be talking about their stats, such as strength, speed, durability, IQ, experience, and their abilities to determine who would win this generational-long debate. However, before we get to that, I need to talk to you about their backstories, starting with Son Goku. Goku is one of the most popular and influential anime characters of all time. He was born as a member of the Saiyan race, a warrior alien race from the planet Vegeta. As an infant, he was sent to Earth just before his home planet was destroyed by Frieza, and he was sent there by his father and mother, Bardock and Gine. His mission was originally to conquer Earth, but after suffering a head injury as a child, Goku lost his aggressive Saiyan instincts and grew up a kind-hearted and pure young gentleman. He was found and raised by an old martial artist named Grandpa Gohan, who taught him discipline and martial arts. After Grandpa Gohan's death, Goku lived alone in the mountains until he met Bulma, kicking off a lifelong journey of adventure, training, and battles. Over time, Goku discovers his Saiyan heritage, constantly pushes his limits through intense training, and protects Earth and even the universe from increasingly powerful enemies, all while maintaining his cheery personality and love of fighting powerful opponents. Saitama is the central character of the manga and anime One Punch Man, created by the author and pretty sure illustrator by the name of One. Before becoming a hero, Saitama was an ordinary, unemployed young man living a pretty unremarkable life. One day, he encounters a monster attacking a child, and despite having no special powers, decides to step in and save him. That moment sparks a sense of purpose within Saitama. He resolves to become a hero purely for fun, not for fame or reward. To achieve this, Saitama undergoes an intense and somewhat absurd training regimen: 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every single day for 3 whole years without fail. According to him, this simple routine is what allowed him to break his physical limits, or his limiter, and become overwhelmingly powerful. However, the result was both a blessing and a curse. Saitama became so strong that he could defeat any opponent with a single punch, which leaves him bored, emotionally detached, and searching for a real challenge. Eventually, he found companionship in characters like Geno and King, who helped him find real purpose in his life and is slowly helping him re-enter society. So now that you know who these characters are, which you probably already did, let's get to the main attraction. Like I said in the intro, I'll be comparing their stats to come to the conclusion on who wins this fight. Let's quickly set some rules on the table. I will only be using their canon feats, so no Dragon Ball Heroes or the Xenoverse games for Goku, and no Terra 2 or Terra 3 feats for Saitama. I will also be using both the manga and the anime for both characters, just to make it even. Also, some personal rules for you viewers. If you believe that Saitama is some unbeatable gag character, and literally nothing ever will change your mind at all, or you're a Goku glazer who does a similar thing, denying Goku can ever lose despite obvious evidence being shoved down his throat, if you match either of these two criteria, just click off the video, as everything I'm going to say will just go through one ear and out the other. I will be talking about their feats, not fan-made fallacies. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's begin by talking about the first stat, their strength. Goku is known for being a very powerful character, but how strong truly is he? In the original series of Dragon Ball, Goku was stronger than Roshi, at least by the end of the series. And it's the same Roshi that was capable of fully eradicating the moon with a single blast. This is a planetary level feat, as he fully evaporated it instead of outright destroying it, which takes a lot more energy to do. At the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, Goku was able to go blow for blow with a Vegeta until Vegeta went Ozaru, which then he was overpowered. This is the same Vegeta that can blow up a planet with just 2 fingers. Goku would then go on to fight stronger opponents like Frieza, Cell, and Kid Buu. Frieza is a character who has been stated capable of destroying the universe in his second form, at least in the anime adaptation, as well as Cell having a similar statement by the Namekians. This obviously makes them universal beings, and current Goku is far stronger than any character in Z. Kid Buu himself has also been stated to be capable of destroying a dimension that has been compared to universes, at least in size, which was the Kaioshin realm. However, like I said, current Goku is far stronger than anything and anyone we've seen in Dragon Ball Z. The most infamous feat in Dragon Ball is the punch clash between Goku and Beerus in the Battle of Gods arc of Dragon Ball Super, which shook the entire macrocosm. Now, a lot of Dragon Ball deniers like to claim that this is an invalid feat since it required 2 people. However, this is still a valid feat for both characters. As in Goku's case, he was able to nullify the attack by himself. Beerus had no authority or any role in canceling out this attack. That was entirely Goku. Which means Goku had to overpower the energy that both characters were producing in order to stop the attack. Even if we ignore this, it would still be valid for both characters. Let's take a look at the macrocosm of Universe 7. The universe consists of multiple dimensions, and some of which are infinite in size, like Hell and the Kaioshin realm. We know this as true as in the Daizenshu, which are the official guidebooks that some of which Toriyama himself has written, and specifically the Daizenshu 4. This means that you would have had to have affected an infinite-sized space in order to threaten of shaking it. The mathematical concept of infinity represents something unbounded, endless, and unchangeable. To put it simply, this means that no matter what you do, no matter what you add, no matter what you take, no matter what you divide from infinity, you won't get anything other than infinity. So even if you cut infinity in half to represent both characters are still affecting what's essentially infinity, meaning both Beerus and Goku would logically scale to this feat. This would give Goku multiversal levels of power, as he was able to affect multiple dimensions, and especially multiple infinite-sized dimensions. However, there is something I want to address. The afterlife, which is part of the affected macrocosm, has been stated to have transcended dimensions, which would normally make a similar statement like this to something else, an outerversal thing, or in this case an outerversal structure, and thus making Goku outerversal. However, there are a lot of anti-feats disproving an outer structure afterlife. Basically, to be outerversal, you need to be above the laws of time, space, and dimensionality. King Kai's planet has been directly described by King Kai himself to be, and I quote, small but have powerful gravity. And to have gravity, you have to obey the laws of time and space. Meaning, it's not outerversal. There are a lot of other anti-feats, but this video is probably going to be long enough already, so go and watch my Metal Sonic vs. Dragon Ball video for a better debunk on an outerversal Dragon Ball. So a multiversal level Goku is far more accurate than an outerversal one. Goku would go on to fight stronger opponents like Jiren, Broly, and Moro, who are all way more powerful than the energy of the Punch Clash. And in Broly's case, he literally shattered reality in his fight with Gogeta. Current Goku within the Dragon Ball Super manga is also arguably superior to Granola and Gas, who are literally wished to be the strongest warriors in the universe, meaning they heavily upscale the Punch Clash, Jiren, Broly, and even Moro, who all dog-walked a post-Punch Clash Goku. So overall, how strong is Goku? Well, he can be scaled to having multiversal levels of power. Saitama is also a character known for his immense levels of sheer physical strength. But how strong is he truly? Even before his powers, Saitama was somehow able to beat Crab Latte by himself. Later on in the series, Saitama was capable of blowing a large hole in a mountain with a single punch without even making contact with it in his fight against Genos. Saitama was also capable of defeating monsters like Deep Sea King, who is as strong as Sky King, who can shake the entire Hero Association headquarters. Saitama was also capable of fighting and killing Boros, who is an extremely powerful character, capable of destroying planets easily and conquering entire galaxies. However, Saitama's best feats come from his fight against Garo. Saitama was capable of destroying the surface of Jupiter with just a sneeze, clashing serious punches with Garo, and even destroying a massive cluster of stars. So as you can see, Saitama is a pretty powerful character, but there are a few things I want to address before I come to the verdict on where he scales. First of all, during his fight against Garo, Garo directly says that Saitama is limitlessly strong. This was not Garo saying that Saitama is infinitely powerful, as in he has infinite strength, but he was more so talking about Saitama's ability to grow in strength to no limit. We see this in his fight against Garo, that Saitama can adapt to his opponent and grow in strength drastically, which is what Garo was referring to. There are also several manga panels that claim that Saitama has boundless power. However, most of them are mistranslations. The one that you see on screen right now says, and I quote, "In exchange for his boundless power, he became bald." However, this this panel specifically is either a mistranslation or a fan-made panel, because the actual official panel says, "In exchange for power, he became bald." The word boundless appears nowhere in the actual panel, so this one panel claiming boundless Saitama is debunked. However, this panel that you see on screen right here says that he achieved power that could not be limited by the word boundless. And this panel is actually somewhat consistent throughout all of the translations, right? Well, yes, but being described as having boundless power doesn't automatically make you a boundless individual. To be boundless, you need to have no limits, have an unchangeable form, and be above all physical concepts beyond differentiation. As we see later on in the manga, two Saitama cannot exist in the same place at the same time, which means there are rules governing Saitama's existence, which automatically locks him out of being a boundless individual. We also see Saitama grow in power at a consistent rate, which means he does not have an unchangeable and ungovernable form, which is a requirement to be boundless. And while yes, Saitama does not have a limit, that doesn't automatically make you boundless. Also, the term boundless also just means to have unlimited or immense power, or just being something that is unlimited or immense. So, while Saitama does likely have this unlimited and infinite strength, this would only put Saitama at those universal to high universal levels of power and nowhere near boundless. We know this is the case because if you have infinite strength or energy, you would be able to affect 3 to 4D spaces, meaning you would be in these universal ranges. I also want to state that the empty void fight has been retconned and thus no longer canon, so I won't be talking about anything related to empty void within this video. I forgot to mention that during the rules section, so I'm just putting that here. So I know that was a lot, but let's summarize. Saitama can be scaled to having multi-galaxy to universal levels of power. So who's stronger? Well, it's actually a lot closer than both fandoms like to admit. Both characters are immensely powerful and have contended with world-ending threats. However, Goku has the edge in this stat. Goku's feats of shaking the macrocosm and dealing with powerful threats like Granola and Jiren just simply trump anything Saitama has shown to be capable of currently in the manga. While it is definitely possible that later on in his series he can eventually match this level of strength, from what we've seen currently, Saitama is nowhere near this level. So while Saitama is a powerhouse, he just simply falls short when compared to Goku. Now let's talk about the next stat, their speed. Goku is an incredibly fast fighter within the world of Dragon Ball. As a child, Goku could move faster than human perception and dodge bullets and missiles shot at him by the Red Ribbon Army. Goku was also able to propel himself at Demon King Piccolo at around relativistic speeds with a Kamehameha. So Kid Goku can move at around relativistic speeds, but obviously he's gotten a lot faster the older he got. Goku was able to keep up with a Saiyan Saga Vegeta, who could move at faster than light speeds or FTL speeds, Frieza, who can move at MFTL or massively faster than light speeds, who is fast. We know this is the case because Frieza was faster than a base Goku, who could dodge asteroids while moving through space at these FTL plus speeds. And Super Saiyan Goku was able to outspeed a full power Frieza. So yeah, these MFTL plus speeds are very consistent through Dragon Ball Z, as even Cell and Kid Buu would have these speeds as well, being able to outspeed and blitz faster versions of Namek Saga Goku. There are some speed feats that I want to talk about from within the DBS anime. During the Universe Tournament, before the Tournament of Power arc and even the Future Trunks arc, Goku fought against Hit, the time-skipping assassin. It was during this fight where Goku was able to completely break out of Hit's time skip. King Kai has described this as Goku forcing himself into the future, which would be an immeasurable speed feat, but I don't believe that that is what is actually happening here. Whis, who is a much smarter individual than King Kai, has stated that if your ki is stronger than your opponent, then you can cancel out anything your opponent can do, such as their speed, strength, and abilities. This is actually really consistent throughout the Dragon Ball series. We see this in fights like Cell vs. Vegeta. So what's most likely happening here is that since Goku was stronger than Hit at the time, especially since he was in his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken form, then he was able to cancel out his Hit's time skip because his energy was stronger. So while Goku doesn't have immeasurable speeds, he does get close to it. In the manga's version of the Goku Black arc, Goku is capable of moving around just fine in the erased future timeline, despite the concept of time itself being erased. This would give Goku inaccessible speeds, as he was able to move certain distances within 0 time. So overall, Goku should have inaccessible speeds thanks to this feat in particular. Saitama is pretty fast when it comes to speed, and sometimes his speed is actually pretty overlooked in power scaling debates. Early on in his training, before he broke his limiter and became bald, Saitama was capable of outpacing speeding cars. He was also capable of outspeeding his own reflection in the mirror, allegedly, and being capable of seeing the back of his head. Later on in the manga and in his fight against Garo, Saitama was capable of completely blitzing an awakened Garo, who in his fight against Platinum was able to move so fast that he created entire constellations and moved many times faster than light. Saitama was actually able to recreate this feat for himself while fighting Garo. Saitama was also capable of moving so fast, he perception blitzed Garo and made himself seem like he was in multiple places at once and creating after images. Also, Saitama was capable of traveling faster than light with just a fart. No, I'm not joking. This is a real panel, and he actually did this within the series. Saitama can casually move faster than light with a fart. So, how fast truly is Saitama? Well, Saitama very casually and very consistently moves at these FTL plus to even MFTL plus, or massively faster than light, speeds. However, there is one thing that can be debated to get him faster than this. In the fight against Garo, Saitama uses the attack named, or at least technique named, the Zero Punch, which is an attack that goes back in time and attacks the target before the punch was even thrown, pretty much ending the fight with 0 punches. It also allows Saitama to time travel by manipulating subatomic particles to shoot him backwards in time, which would obviously give Saitama immeasurable speeds, but there's a slight issue with it. The issue with this is that when he merged with the past version of himself, he either totally forgot how to use it, or just flat out lost the ability to do so. My point is that he won't really be able to recreate what he did on a consistent basis Thus, I don't really know if I should scale him to it, since not only did he forget it, but he also isn't time traveling with pure speed, but rather with a technique. So just because it's not really consistent that he would even scale to it in the first place, I won't be using it. So who's faster? Well, since I'm not including the Zero Punch, Goku takes the edge here. While both characters very easily have a minimum of MFTL levels of speed, and well, that's not really debatable, however, Goku being able to move in zero time gives him the edge with his inaccessible speeds. If you include the Zero Punch, however, Saitama would actually be a bit faster. But since I'm not including it, Goku edges out Saitama in terms of speed. Now let's talk about the next stat, their durability. Durability in Dragon Ball is widely debated, as sometimes it seems pretty inconsistent. Goku was able to take hits from characters in OG Dragon Ball, like Roshi, who I already mentioned could dish out planetary levels of energy, and Demon King Piccolo, who was far stronger than the moon-busting Roshi. Goku can also take beatings from powerful villains like Frieza, Cell, and Buu, who are all arguably universal beings. And Goku even survived getting punched through the chest by the Planet Eater Moro, and getting thrashed around by Broly, which both of them are multiversal level threats. Now let's address some, quote, anti-feats that Dragon Ball down players like to use to claim Goku's durability is far lower than it actually is. First of all is the infamous laser feat, where Goku gets shot in the chest by a laser and nearly dies. The reason Goku was affected so badly by this was because his guard was down and his attention was focused solely on Frieza, who was on the ground in front of him. We know this is the case because Whis has stated directly that you are far more vulnerable to attacks when your guard is down. This is the main reason Goku was hurt by a lot of things he realistically shouldn't be, like when he was trampled by an elephant and when Krillin threw a rock at his head. Goku's guard was down, and thus he wasn't paying attention when he got hurt. Another feat that people try to use to downplay Goku's durability is during the Moro arc, where him and Vegeta were nearly killed by, quote, planetary explosions. This is the case because Moro was actively draining Goku and Vegeta's ki, which was making their bodies a whole lot weaker, not because they can't survive planetary attacks. Moro was actively making Goku weaker and making him not being able to survive many attacks as easily because his ki reserves were so much lower than they are normally. So no, Goku's durability is not just planetary. With that out of the way, how durable is Goku? Well, Goku should have multiversal levels of durability due to fighting characters like Broly, Jiren, Granola, etc., who are all stronger than Goku's punch clash with Beerus. Saitama's durability is extremely impressive. In the early stages of his career, Saitama was able to survive a blow from Piggy Bancon that sent him crashing into a concrete wall and leaving a decently sized crater into it. Saitama was also left totally unaffected by a punch to the head from Deep Sea King, being in the epicenter of Boros' collapsing star cannon, left totally unaffected by the Elder Centipede's attacks, and many more impressive feats. In his fight against Cosmic Garo, Saitama was able to tank the explosion caused by the serious punch clash between him and Garo, despite being in the epicenter of it. These punches were also infused with Saitama's own power, which makes this even more impressive. Towards the end of the fight, Saitama had grown so powerful that no matter what Garo did, he couldn't affect Saitama literally at all. And Saitama was using only one hand. This would give Saitama multi-galaxy levels of durability, and even universal levels due to his durability being relative to his strength. Now, there is something that I want to address before I move on, and that is the claim made by fans that Saitama can't be damaged. This is, again, another fan-made fallacy. The first instance of Saitama taking damage was in this panel where Saitama gets attacked and scratched by a cat. While yes, this is played in a comedic tone and as some sort of gag, that doesn't change the fact that he got damaged here. A second instance was in the Boros fight where it directly says, and I quote, "He took damage." Considering this isn't in any speech bubbles or boxes, especially in Boros' text bubble, and in the font and format of the narrator dialogue, this is most likely the narrator saying Saitama took damage rather than just Boros claiming it to be so. So yeah, the Saitama can't be damaged claim made by fans is completely false. And the reason we don't see Saitama taking much damage is because there's no one strong enough in his verse to actually deal that damage to him. So yeah, Saitama can be damaged, and he would have universal levels of durability. So who's more durable? Well, it's decently close, but Goku takes the edge in this stat. While both are extremely durable and have taken nasty blows and attacks, Goku has just survived larger scale attacks than anything Saitama has shown to be able to survive at this point in time. So Saitama is no pushover, but Goku is just simply more durable. Now let's talk about the next two stats, IQ and experience. Goku is an extremely intelligent fighter, and that fact is undeniable. While Goku is as dumb as a door when it comes to book intelligence and academics, he is an extraordinary genius when it comes to martial arts and fighting. As a child, he was able to beat Grandpa Gohan, who had been stated to be a master in all forms of martial arts, and he quickly went on to even fight other martial art masters like Master Roshi. Goku is able to quickly adapt to his opponents and quickly learn advanced techniques like the Kamehameha, which took Roshi years to learn in just a few seconds. Goku was also able to go toe-to-toe with Cell for a while until he was overpowered in terms of martial arts skills, and Cell was literally genetically designed to be the best martial artist. Goku was skilled enough to match Beerus and intelligent enough to learn how to cancel out the shockwaves from their clash that threatened to destroy the universe. There are many instances of Goku of learning ways around his opponents, like hits time stop, ways to beat Moreau, Granola, etc. Goku was even able to learn how to use Ultra Instinct, which is a technique that not even most of the gods of destruction themselves could use at its full potential. So yeah, it's no doubt that Goku's an extremely intelligent and skilled fighter. But just how experienced is he? Well, ever since he was a child, he has been training profusely, getting formal training from Grandpa Gohan, Korin, Roshi, and even gods like Whis and Beerus. Goku has also fought a wide variety of powerful opponents for many years. Goku took down the Red Ribbon Army, defeated Demon King Piccolo, fought and helped kill Raditz, destroyed Nappa in a 1v1, beat Frieza, fought Cell, the androids, and Kid Buu, fought Beerus, beat Hit and Goku Black, almost beat Jiren by himself before Ultra Instinct took a toll on his body, fought Broly, beat Moreau, stood his own against Granola and Gas, and has even fought many people on his level like Vegeta and Gohan. So yeah, as you can tell, Goku is not only an extremely battle-intelligent, hardy warrior, but also very experienced. So after hearing all of that about Goku, surely Saitama's pretty relative to him in terms of intelligence and skill, right? Well, no, not really. Saitama's not brain dead, but he's also not really anything special. He's mostly a single-minded guy, such as the time he chased a mosquito relentlessly, even after sustaining a blast that destroyed his clothes, along with other things. Saitama also did pretty poorly on the written exam for the Hero Association, and it's been hinted and outright stated that he's lacking academically. He also doesn't really know how to fight properly, being more of just an outright brawler than a skilled martial artist. He also tends not to take things too seriously, as nothing ever really posed a challenge to him, and he tends not to care too much about actually being a fighter. So, he's about slightly below average in terms of book IQ, and just about average in terms of battle IQ. While he's not that intelligent, surely he's experienced, right? Well, he has fought a wide variety of monsters and has been a hero for about 4 years. He hasn't really gotten any formal combat training. His only sort of training throughout his entire life was the training he got when he broke his limiter, but that didn't really help him learn to fight in any way. Sure, he has beaten like professional martial artists, but he didn't really do so with skilled martial arts techniques. So overall, he's just like an average guy when it comes to IQ and experience. So who takes the edge in these stats? Well, both might be pretty dumb academically, but Goku is just simply the more experienced and way better fighter between the two. It helps that he's been fighting for way longer than Saitama, fought more enemies, got way more combat training from multiple teachers, and takes combat a bit more seriously than Saitama. Goku is an extremely skilled martial artist, while Saitama just throws punches and hopes for the best. So Goku takes the edge in both stats pretty handily. So before I come to the verdict on who wins, I need to talk about their abilities. Goku is very stacked when it comes to the sheer amount of abilities he has. Goku is capable of flying, teleporting with instant transmission, firing blasts of energy with his ki, revive beings with his ki like we see him do to a bird in the Cooler movie and to himself in his first encounter with Hit. Goku also has access to the Mafaba sealing technique, or the evil containment wave, which allows him to seal his opponents away into containers strong enough to hold them. Goku has a wide variety of ki techniques that he uses in battle, such as the Solar Flare to blind his opponents, the Destructo Disc to slice his enemies, the Dragon Fist to deal very powerful melee damage, the God Bind, which allows Goku to bind his opponents in place and prevent them from moving, the Spirit Bomb or Genki Dama is a very powerful attack, however it needs a long charge period, and finally his most iconic technique is the Kamehameha, a wave of energy that deals massive damage, and he can shoot it from his feet, bend it to chase his opponents, and even apply more energy to it to deal, more damage. Goku has the Kaioken, which boosts his stats by a certain multiplier, but hurts his body. Goku's most infamous ability is his massive amount of transformations that boosts his stats even farther than Kaioken can. Super Saiyan gives Goku a 50 times multiplier to his base. Super Saiyan 2 gives him a 2 times multiplier from regular Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan 3 gives him a 4 times multiplier from Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 4, while not directly stated, has about 8 times multiplier from Super Saiyan 3. And he has other forms like Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, etc. However, Goku's most useful technique is Ultra Instinct. This allows Goku to be near untouchable, as Ultra Instinct allows Goku to dodge anything by moving his body on its own. While Goku used to not be able to control it, in the current manga he has such skill with it that he can even use it in his other forms. So yeah, as you can tell, Goku has a lot of abilities on his side. Saitama Okay, he doesn't have any abilities at all. I don't even really know what to talk about here, as his whole thing is that he just ends things with one punch. So there would be no real point in him having abilities, as he wouldn't really use them all the time. He just punches him and the fight's over. I suppose I could just talk about his fighting techniques, but they're basically just punches but a flurry, and punches that are just slightly harder than normal. There you go. That basically sums up his entire kit. Let's just move on to the verdict. So who wins? Well, I see this fight going down in 3 scenarios. Number 1 is that Goku does Goku things and allows Saitama to grow in strength until it's too late and Saitama eventually becomes too strong for him to handle and he gets one shot. The second scenario is that Goku tries to let Saitama grow, but with his superior stats, he would accidentally one-shot Saitama. And the third and final scenario is that both are bloodlusted and Goku speed blitzes and one-shots Saitama before he can even react. The issue for Saitama is that his growth is too slow to actually help him here. Saitama has only ever grown drastically in strength through the sheer anger of Genos' murder by Garo's hands. And he still didn't even grow that fast. But even if Saitama could adapt, you know who else does the exact same thing? Goku, and literally every other one of the Saiyans we've seen, has the same ability to adapt mid-fight and grow as the fight goes on. So Goku's growth could just flat out cancel Saitama's. Even if Saitama somehow grew to be stronger than Goku, Goku could just seal him away with the evil containment wave, and boom, the battle is over. Also, the biggest factor here is that Saitama doesn't really have a consistent way around Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct could just detect Saitama throwing a punch and move Goku's body to either dodge or block it to absolute perfection. So, yeah, Saitama, while being incredibly powerful, he just gets overpowered, outsped, and out-hexed by Goku, since without any abilities of his own, Saitama doesn't really have any counters to stopping Goku from doing literally anything to him. It also doesn't help Saitama's case that Goku is a much better fighter than him, and that is not debatable. So, the winner for this video is Son Goku with mid difficulty. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you disagree with anything I said in this video, make sure to comment down below, and I'll make sure to read all of your comments. If you also want to request any fights, make sure to comment those down below, and I'll make sure to add it to my list. Tune in next time as I cover Eren Yeager versus Ken Kaneki, Attack on Titan versus Tokyo Ghoul. Anyways, this is Dusty, signing off. Have a wonderful day, and be good people.